Welcome back to the Preneur Life. We're your hosts, Curtis and Spring Eatman, and today we're going to be talking about why couples make great entrepreneurs as part of our top 10 series. So let's get into it.
So welcome back, Preneurs. Let's get right into the conversation on why couples make great entrepreneurs. And as a couple, I would love to hear your thoughts on this conversation, because obviously we've been in a relationship for a while. There might be people watching this and they're also in a relationship wondering, well, can we be entrepreneurs as well? I know maybe we've already done the corporate America thing and can we exit that, or maybe we could do something on the side, but maybe they're thinking about entrepreneurship. What could be your mindset on that? What would you think?
So I think that couples make really great entrepreneurs working together because you already run a business together. Essentially, you run a household, right?
Yeah.
And in running a household, you are business partners, and you have roles, I have roles, and we have to come together to make that business successful. Otherwise, we don't have a roof over our head, we don't have food to eat, we don't have clothes on our back.
Right.
So I think that couples naturally learn that partnership, and they naturally learn how to do that. I think sometimes the world kind of makes it like you shouldn't work together with your spouse, oh, we're gonna kill each other, or you get sick of each other type of a thing. But I mean, it's really interesting how when you are a couple and you're working together for your same goals and dreams, like you're able to help each other achieve your goals and dreams, how much that really aids in your relationship as well as your business. What would you say?
It's kind of interesting you say that, because I do get that question a lot. It's like, well, oh my gosh, you work with your wife, like, aren't you tired of seeing her? Like, you see her all the time.
Honey, no.
Too much. The cool thing though is that if I ever do get tired of the situation, is that what we can do is we do control our own time.
Exactly.
So I can separate. Does that make sense? I can go in my own space and escape and come back, and the same thing in the household. So it's nothing really different.
Right.
If you enjoy, again, who you married or who you decide to choose as your partner, then it's kind of the same situation if you're stepping into business. I think the problem why people get to that scenario is because they don't know how to work together. But when transitioning into business, should I say, so maybe they run the household, maybe they have children, maybe they handle the finances, all that's taken care of. But when it transitions to a business, they don't know how to work together in regards to help each other, not hurt each other.
Right.
One has to be the authoritative position versus a partnership.
Right.
And when you do that, that's when it kind of gets messy, because now, I'm your boss, or vice versa, where now it's, no, I can't mix both. Like, can we be partners? And partners in life, then that means that doesn't matter what we do together, as long as we're helping each other get to that next level, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
That's why I think that's a major issue.
I mean, I think I agree and I disagree, because from my perspective, there's still a leader even in the house.
Okay.
One person is going to take the lead in something. It may not be in every aspect, but let's say if we're talking about, family values, who's leading our household at the end of the day, that's going to be you. If it's like, who's going to handle the finances? Maybe one person is better at that than the other. So that person's going to naturally take that role. Right. Who's going to be the predominant person watching over the children? Somebody's going to take that role. But so it's like somebody is kind of leading one area or the other. I think the more important part of it, not so much about being so worried about who's leading and who's not, is making sure that you have defined roles. So that you're not stepping on each other's toes. When you're in your household, it works because you know who's doing what. Like, I know you're getting up, I know your schedule, I know you're gonna be at the gym at 5:30 in the morning. I know that I gotta make sure that the kids are getting dressed and this and that they're ready for school by the time you're ready to leave, so that you can drop them off. And we work in concert that way. And I think in business, it's the exact same thing, which is why couples are so good, because they don't even realize that they already have these skills. It's just learning the definition of the role. I think the other part of it is making sure that when you have that role, just like in your household, making sure that you're not stepping on each other's toes or over hovering the other person when they're doing their role.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're disciplining the kids, I'm not gonna come over and be like, what did you say? Wait, no, you should say this or you should do this.
Right.
It's like, no, you got that. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing right now. You're gonna lead in that area. I'm gonna back you up. You know, and I think sometimes when people get into entrepreneurial roles together, sometimes they end up stepping on each other's toes because they're thinking, oh, you know, what is it that you're taking care of today? Right. Did you do your part? Right. Instead of trusting each other, you know, which is important in relationship as well as having trust, you know?
Yeah, so I would definitely agree with that, for sure.
Yeah. So as far as relationships in entrepreneurship, you know, obviously we know the roles are very important. What would you say as far as some of the most important things to focus on when you're starting a business together in your relationship? What would you say are the first couple things that people should focus on?
Well, I think first and foremost, I think you have to sit down and figure out what you want in your personal life first. Mm-hmm. Like, so what do I want? What do you want? And what do we want together?
Very good.
You know, mm-hmm. And then can the business that we're looking to create, can that business actually contribute to where we both want to go?
Very good.
Because if it's not overlapping, then we're both wasting our energies anyways. And we're not going to be excited about where we're going. Mm-hmm. You know, so I think that's very, very important that if both our energies are going to that one business together, and we do have defined roles, as what you mentioned, and we're not being each other's bosses, but leading in our departments that we said that we're going to be doing, then I think everything's going to work out just fine in that regard. But if you don't, then that's when you have major issues, because then the partner feels like they have to now step up in certain areas or become more of a boss in certain areas, and that's when the issue happens, where couples are like, oh no, that's don't do it, because now you have people stepping on each other's toes, and now you come back home and you're taking work home. Yeah, that's a whole other issue that, you know, it's not exciting anymore. That the kids are like, what happened? Why are you guys never happy? Because they feel like you guys are always working, and now it's just like a business partner relationship versus a relationship. Mm-hmm. And now you're not really doing life together either, you know? So I think there definitely has to be boundaries set in place. Okay, you got to have boundaries. So, like, for example, if you're going to go to work, you know, and you're going to be working on a business together, you know exactly what you're doing, you know exactly we'll meet at lunch together. Tell me about your day, what's going on right now, you know, we'll meet for dinner, you know, and then there's certain breaks that you have to relieve yourself. I think when you're working together, you're not always together like this all day.
No way.
If you're actually putting in work. you know, so you don't even have time to be able to, you know, talk about, oh my gosh, I see you all the time, because I'm too busy working
handling
on
your roles.
Rolling my roles that we already defined that's important to complete. And I know if I don't complete my roles, then I'm actually affecting not getting to where you need to go as well in your life.
Right.
So it's not just affecting me, it's affecting you and anyone else that we're going to be bringing on board too as an entrepreneur. Because obviously, if our dream is big, we need more help. So there's going to be employees going to be hiring and things like that. So we got to be able to set this pace effectively, and we don't have time to just be playing around if we're going to step into this entrepreneurship world.
Yeah. So
that'll be my biggest thing, is making sure that we can know exactly what we want to do together, what we know to do individually, and can this business model that we're creating together, the field that we're stepping into, can this actually contribute to solving those issues that we don't currently have right now without the business?
I love that. Yeah. You know, I think I would only add to that support, trust, and and like you said, like the boundaries. You know, because I think number one, support is very important. Because if one person is probably going to be the first one, you're not going to wake up the same night and say, Eureka, we should be entrepreneurs together, right? It's probably one person's idea first. Yeah. And I think it's very important for you to support each other, you know, hear each other out. Okay, what is the idea? Not just shoot it down, oh, this is not what I'm used to, or whatever it is, but hear each other out, hear the plan, really pray about it, but really give your all into that support. And then at entrepreneurship, there's going to be some rocky moments when you're starting out, especially.
Yeah.
still trust and communicate when times get hard. You have to still keep that same support. It's not, you said this was gonna blah blah blah, and you said, and you got us into this. It's like no, I'm supporting you, so I'm gonna support you from A to Z. And if we're gonna be spending the millions together, then when the ship is sinking, we're gonna be both with our shovel getting the water out of this boat. So I think that it's important for full support going into it, and really putting the you should have and you said, those blaming fingers away, and saying, okay, I'm owning this as if it was my idea. And then, like you said, the boundaries, making sure that you have specific time for your relationship as you're building your business, so that the lines don't get too blurry. Having that and communication obviously is super important.
Yeah, I think especially if you have children too.
Yeah.
All right, if you have children, you got to make sure that, because now if you're stepping into a new business, to get a business off the ground, it's not rainbows and sunshine. It's like you're right. You have to put a lot of work in, to be able to get it up, effectively. So I think it's important that you have dates with your children, so they don't feel neglected now that you're putting more work into it, or especially if you have a spouse or a significant other that you are working with, that you're choosing to go into business with. I think it's important that you guys, like what you just mentioned, have dates, once a week, just to be able to not even talk about business or anything like that. That's why I mentioned, again, having lunches or dinners or even a quick breakfast or just a quick call, 5 to 10 minutes to say, hey, how are things going today? Just checking on you. And then keep it going so that you stay effective. But those are like your little gas stations.
Yeah.
I guess you would call it, that you need to refuel yourself, because if not, you can go on E if you just work. You don't put anything back into your relationship, back into your faith, back into your family, all the way to the fitness, fashion, and everything else we got going on, right? So,
yeah. So I think that's super important. And I think also foundation is very important. Just like you're building your relationship, build your business. The foundation is the most important part. And, in everything you do, like just in the Bible, it says, seek me first and all these other things will be added to you. So I think the number one is making sure that you pray about it together, that you're on the same page, and that you have that direction, that this is, where we should be going. This is what we should be doing together. Both have that confirmation, have the communication together. Then you have the support, the communication, the boundaries, the roles. You're on your way, honey.
Yes, blood in, blood out, right? Good stuff.
I love it.
Well, anything else that you would add to any couples watching this?
Well, I would say that, as much as it is, sometimes difficult to build a business together, it's 10, 15 million times more rewarding. Because when I was working in corporate America, if I was having struggles, he couldn't help me. If he was having struggles, I couldn't come and help him. But with us working together in our business, when we're struggling or we're having a hard time or we have a goal in mind, we can come together and work together. And first of all, God put us together with strengths and our weaknesses and all those things as like a perfect match. There's so much power. That's why I think you hear a lot of times couple power when couples work together or doing certain things, because there is such a power in that dynamic and that union of marriage and relationship.
Yep.
And so I think when you are able to come together and reach for those goals and really aid each other and help each other, when you get to the top, it's not like this is what he did or this is what I did. This is what we built together. Number one, it's just so much more rewarding for each other, but it's also such a great thing for your children to be able to see and to be able to emulate growing up as well. So that would be my addition. What about you?
No, I think it's important. You gotta be shooting the gym with me.
Yeah.
Right? Let's go
Exactly.
say, right? Or Drake say, were you shooting in the gym, right?
Yeah.
I would definitely agree on that concept, but in regards to just making sure that if this is something that you guys want together, that again, that you guys consistently keep talking about it. That you guys, before you go to sleep at night, that you keep dreaming. I think that's the biggest problem, is that you don't dream and you don't use your imagination enough.
Especially when things start getting scary.
Exactly.
You gotta go back to
when the bank account starts going negative, things like that. If it ever does, I pray it never happens to you. But I remember our bank account went negative 200, and then, and with a couple thousand, I was like, oh, is this stuff like this? And there's no one to talk to. Because, usually when you step into entrepreneurship and you're letting all your friends, your family know and all that, they're like, no, don't do that. Like, you got a degree. You go get a corporate job. You're crazy. You got a family. You need stability, right? You need all these different things. But it's interesting, but if you say, like, I just got my degree, and then everyone likes everything you got going on, right? Yeah. But I'm in debt, $100,000. Right. It's a little weird. It's a little weird concept. But anyways, to go back into that, just dreaming again, using our most powerful thing that we have, I think, is imagination. And then it's saying, imagine what can happen if we just consistently keep working. Imagine what can happen, our life's going to look like. Imagine, you're going to be able to drive the cars you want to drive. And maybe you want to be able to wear the kind of clothes you want to wear. Your kid's going to go to the best private schools. They're going to be traveling everywhere we want. We don't have to worry about vacations like everyone else. We get to take trips. We don't have to worry about, how much is in the bank account before we make the decision. It's like you're dreaming. You're watching videos and just putting yourself into that avatar of who you want to be, the next person you're going to become. But the real cool thing about it is that you actually have a platform through entrepreneurship that can actually help you get there. Yeah. That's the cool thing about it. So I would say more than anything that the dream is the fuel that keeps you moving when times get tough. Even when times are great, regardless if it's up or down, the dream is the one that keeps it, I guess you would say, focused. Because I remember when you were working at Kaiser Permanente and you're working 16 to 18 hour days, and I'll be like, I'll go pick up the kids, and I would get off a little bit early, and I'll be like, hey, I'm gonna come see you. I'll come see you. I'm like, can we come back and see you? Like, nah, it's like Fort Knox in here. I can't even go see you at all, right? And I'm like, can you come out? And he's like, no, I can't come out. Like, my boss just told me to do some extra paperwork. I was like, I just drove 30 minutes to come see you. What are you talking about? Like, you can't even have lunch. Like, I got the kids with me. I picked them up. We're going to have lunch. Like, no, I can't have lunch right now. My boss won't let me. And I remember that. And I was like, this can never happen again. I don't like someone else having authority over our life in regards to being able to have lunch, doing things that we just normally want to do. Yeah. Like, I didn't like that. I didn't like that our kids couldn't be able to see you when we wanted to see you. In the same situation for me where I was driving, God knows, 2.5 hours commute. My right calf muscle to this day is still bigger than my left muscle. Hitting that brake pad so many times because there's so much traffic all the time. Yeah. And I just remember, I said, man, one day we're gonna get out of this situation. One day we're gonna get out of this situation. And us choosing entrepreneurship as a couple has definitely expanded that, where we don't have to worry about that anymore. If we want to eat lunch, we eat lunch 3 times a day if we want to, right? If we want to go on a trip, we just decide we want to go on a trip. If the kids, we want to take them anywhere, we don't really have to be like, okay, we don't care. We just take them, right? Because we make the decisions that we feel is best fit for our family versus someone else making it for us. And that's the cool thing you have as an entrepreneur, if you guys choose to do that together. Yeah. So more of the story is, if you're thinking about entrepreneurship, you already have the tools in your relationship to be able to branch out and do those things. You just have to figure out how to fine-tune those into whatever the venture is that God has called you to. And it's always going to evolve. It's every day, new version, right?
Exactly.
We just keep getting better. Find it like wine, right?
Oh, yeah.
Let us know if there's anything else that we missed that maybe you have some ideas on as well. Let us know if you want to step into entrepreneurship as a couple. Like, share, and also with the social medias, and we'll see you guys on the next video.
Bye.